we have Shmini Atzeres, we have Shavuos, Baruch Hashem, we have Yom Tov, and we know what it is like, by Goyim, when you want a part, Yom Tov, a holiday by them is a Yom Tov by them is, hey, I'm drinking, I'm getting drunk, and life continues. By Yid, we're not drinking or eating, we're eating and drinking because we are happy that what happened with Hashem made us this Yom Tov. We're so happy that Hashem gave us this Yom Tov. So that's also about Hanukkah. Hanukkah, we're very happy that the Yidden were overpowering the Goyim. We overpowered. Hanukkah is a time actually, that a lot of people by the Hanukkah candles have a minhag to say Tehillim, which is a beautiful minhag, and you know what? And that's very powerful. Tehillim is one of the most powerful tefillot. A lot of tefillot are very good for everyone. Everybody needs tefillot. There's like many sick people out there, sick people who that are right now having sicknesses. As a matter of fact, I actually got a email of a few of them. So let's take out a Tehillim right now, or after the show. Well, after the show, official Shachter follows, so that's not going to be a good time. But I'm going to read off some of the names that I got. Aryeh ben Bela Rachel, Ariela Natana bat Chana Zahava, Binyamin Zev Hakoyen ben Sharon Rivka. These are all children just like you who are not, but they're not well. Whether they have their disability of walking, of what we have our hands, we have our feet, we have we have to think about that we have our hands, we have a beautiful home. Not unfortunately, we know people. I know people that unfortunately have don't have a house because they don't they couldn't afford a house and they live in an apartment, and they're very happy. So you don't have to be rich to be happy. But anyways, the list continues here. Chaim Meir Ben Rina Leah, Chava Shalva Gabriela Bashana Aliza, Chaya Mila Bat Lita, and there's a long list over here. It's like 45, 50 names of kids who need a big refuah, and they should all have a refuah shalema b'karv. Anyways, going back to Hanukkah, how we overpower them. What did the story come out to? How was this possible? Well, out comes this person named Matisyahu, who was a Kohen. He had 5 boys. Yochanan, now listen to this. Yochanan, I don't know if you ever heard this. Yochanan was called Gadi. Nisim actually has a son called Gad. So I'm assuming his nickname is Gadi. Anyways, he had a second son, Shimon. Shimon was called Tarsi. I don't know what the meaning of Tarsi is. I couldn't find the meaning of that. But if you know the meaning, you can text it in, and I'll be glad to read it. And I'll be able to understand it. You'll be helping everybody understand what the name Tarsi means. Yehuda is called Maccabi, obviously, because Maccabi. And number 4, the 4th child was Elazar, called Charan. Now, if you can help me with Charan, I don't understand why the reason they named him Charan. I couldn't find a reason. And Yonasan was called Chafus, and that's also, I don't know the reason to that. But their nicknames of these kids, again, Yochanan was called Gadi, Shimon was called Tarsi, and Yehuda Maccabi, he was nicknamed Maccabi, and Elazar was called Charan. Yonasan was called Chafas, and we don't know why. I don't know why. Anyways, Matisyahu called out a few years later, Mi Lashem Elai. Mi Lashem Elai. And, well, all of a sudden, Yidden came and said, yeah, however, so, Kavod Hashem, of course, I'm going to be there. I'm going to fight, of course, for our Yiddishkeit. I'm going to fight for it. Like nowadays, sometimes we do fight for our Yiddishkeit, believe it or not. Mommies and tatis are fighting for the Yiddish kinderlichs right in Cheder, where the big, a lot of, mommy and tati and Abba Ima, whatever you call them, they pay a lot of money for kinderlich. So you kinderlich to learn the sweet Torah, the very sweet Torah. After a few years of Matisyahu making his whole group, the whole Maccabee group, well, he felt he was going to die after a few years. He called his kids over, told them, listen to me. Make sure you follow the Torah. The sinners, the people who do Avedas may be alive today, but they're not gonna be here the next day. Yehuda took over his father, and a while later, a Syrian army came to fight. The Yidden were scared. Oh no, what's gonna be? What will happen? We're all gonna be killed. We're all weak from fasting. Yehuda said to them, does it make a difference to Hashem if the army is big or strong? No, it doesn't make a difference. I could be a little child. I could be a little nothing, the little weak thing. And all of a sudden we're rising. We're like a shining star. We rise really high. So we could be very weak. You could fast all day, and you know what? Hashem says, listen, you know what? You're fasting in my honor. That's no problem. Yeah, I'm going to help you, even though you are weak, even though you are not so strong because you fasted, even though, you may have done Averis, but you did tshuva, and you davened, and you were crying that we should be accepted to tshuva. Therefore, no problem, Hashem says. I'm going to accept it. And that's actually what Chanuka is about. Yehuda said to them, doesn't make a difference to Hashem. Hashem is the one who decides who's strong. Hashem decides who's weak. Hashem decides who's mighty. Hashem is going to decide. Let Hashem decide. And they went and fought with the people, the Greeks, the Syrians, they won.
Yes.
They killed many people. Yehuda became very, very famous.
I know what.
Antiochus became very, very angry. He came with a huge army. Antiochus became very angry, and he came with a huge army. Ha! Now I'm gonna wipe them out, he said. Oh no, you don't. You're not gonna wipe us out. Yehuda gave chizuk to the Yidden and said to the Yidden, don't worry, we're gonna win this war. We're gonna win. We're gonna win the war. A little while later, the enemy ran away. They were defeated. The Yidden became rich. They were defeated. The Goyim were defeated. Yehuda told the Yidden, let's fix up the Mikdash. Let's fix up. Let's go to the base of Mikdash right now. Let's fix it up. A while later, the Yidden were looking for oil. They couldn't find oil. They couldn't find oil. Where's the oil? They looked high and low. They looked everywhere. Well, where's the oil? What's going on? What are we going to do? We don't have oil. We can't light a menorah. All of a sudden, out of nowhere came. Yes, a miracle happened. They found this little particular thing of oil. Small amount of oil that maybe could have lasted one day. Maybe even half a day. And they found this little oil. And they decided, you know what? We're going to pour this little oil in. And they're pouring in the oil. And they poured it one day. Wow. Hey, the miracle oil. The miracle oil. It was lasting. And one day came by. And there was another oil. The oil's still there. And then this third day, more oil. Wow. Fifth day, more oil. Sixth day, more oil. Seventh day, more oil. And the eighth day, finally, 8 days of oil. Now, that was the story in short term that Antiochus, this is how Antiochus lost the war. Now, I'm curious, did you ever wonder, children out there, why does Hanukkah fall out of Chafei Kislev? Why? What's so special? What's so special about Chafei Kislev that Hanukkah falls out in that time? Hanukkah represents Ruchnias, and believe it or not, the time of the day is the shortest time of the day of the year. That is why Hanukkah represents Ruchnias, and darkness. We know that darkness represents Tumah, and therefore we light the menorah that we're having more Ruchnias during Hanukkah. Now, another thing, did you wonder? Did you ever wonder why? Why is there a minhag? Right? There's a minhag to eat donuts. What's the point? What are we eating donuts for? For what? Why? Because we like them? They're jelly donuts, they're delicious. Well, besides having a jelly donut that is delicious, yes, I'll agree to that. But why do we eat donuts? What's the minhag to that? Where does it come from? Well, donuts has oil, and we are required to have oily food. And as a matter of fact, we're going to talk about latkes later. That latkes is coming from also in that area, that donuts are oily and latkes are oily, and therefore we eat them. It comes from a minhag long time ago, actually. The Rambam's father wrote about it, about sefganiyot, which was called a honey cake. And a honey cake, it's not like the honey cake they had today. It was called sefganiyot, but we were not sure what it really is, what this honey cake really was. Well, it could have been talking about donuts. Another reason is because even a yid who isn't from can become a gadol. So yes, let's say, there are boys out there that are not so religious, and they have in them, believe it or not, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva became a gadol, a huge Talmud Chacham in his generation. He had 24,000 Talmidim, and he started off as a robber. He started off as a person. He became ger. Reish Lakish was a robber. So, we have big Talmidei Chachamim, big Gedolim that, could have started off very, very bad, but at the end they went very good because they were very interested. And yes, even those kids who are not so from and not so religious, you kids still can make a chance and say to yourselves, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna keep Torah and Mitzvot. I'm gonna keep Torah. I'm gonna keep Shabbat, even though it's hard. Even though my daddy doesn't do it." Sometimes your father doesn't keep Shabbat, but he doesn't know better. But you know what? At the end, your father is going to be very proud that you're serving Shabbat, and that you're doing all these mitzvot. Because you know what? They're going to see the truth. Unfortunately, they don't know the truth right now. They think we're living in a society, we're living in a place in America where everything is free and this and that. So, hey, they didn't know better. Their parents didn't teach them. But you know what? Kids, you could teach your parents. As a matter of fact, I once heard from a Rebbe of mine that he most learned from, not from his Rebbe. He didn't learn a lot from his Rebbe. Well, he learned a lot from his Rebbe as well. But the most he learned from was when he was teaching Kinderlich. When he was teaching you Kinderlich, that is when he was learning a lot. So you kids are teaching your teachers, believe it or not, by asking, let's say, a good question, and your Rebbe has to go home and think about it, or your Rebbe has to think about it. Your Rebbe is going to think about it, and then he's going to say to himself, wow, you know what? He told me a good lesson. Or sometimes a kid can say something like, a good pshat and Gemara, and the Rebbe never heard this pshat before. And you know what? And that means sometimes you're Rebbe's Rebbe, believe it or not. Anyways,